Book 12, Growing in Love, Practical Steps to Spiritual Progress. Welcome, dear brothers and sisters, as we continue our journey through the Treatise on the Love of God by our patron, Saint Francis de Sales. In this final book, book number 12, Saint Francis gives us practical advice on how we can grow in the love of God. This wisdom is especially valuable for those of us who wish to deepen our spiritual lives and embrace divine love more fully. Progress in love is not dependent on natural disposition. Saint Francis begins by dispelling a common misconception that some people, due to their natural temperament, are more suited for divine love than others. While it's true that some people may have a gentler or more loving disposition, this does not determine their capacity for sacred love. God's love is a supernatural gift, and it is poured into the hearts of all who seek it, regardless of their natural tendencies. Those who are naturally affectionate may find it easier to desire to love God, but they also face the danger of becoming too attached to worldly things. On the other hand, individuals who may be harsh or stern by nature can love God just as deeply. Though their love may appear different, it can be equally strong and glorious. The important message here is that God's love transcends our natural characteristics. Whether we are naturally inclined to love or not, the love of God is available to all who open their hearts to receive it. The continual desire to love God. One of the central themes of this book is the importance of a continual desire to love God. Saint Francis tells us that we should never be satisfied with the amount of love we already have for God. We must always strive to love Him more. This holy desire is like the work of bees, constantly collecting honey, always adding to what they have gathered. The same should be true for us in our love for God. We should always be seeking to increase it. Saint Francis beautifully compares this desire to the longing of a sick person who wishes to regain their appetite. Even if we feel distant from God or uncertain about our love for Him, we can still desire to love Him. This desire, Saint Francis de Sales says, is already a form of love. As we nurture this desire, our love for God will grow stronger. The key is to maintain this longing and allow it to draw us closer to Him, renouncing other desires to focus on God. In order to truly grow in divine love, Saint Francis de Sales emphasizes the need to renounce other desires. Just as a hunter's dogs can lose the scent of their prey when overwhelmed by the smells of blooming flowers, so too can our hearts become distracted by worldly attachments. If we fill our hearts with too many desires, we may lose sight of our ultimate goal: to love God with all our heart, mind, and soul. This is why the saints often withdrew from worldly concerns, focusing entirely on divine love. Saint Francis is not necessarily calling us to leave the world, but he is urging us to detach from unnecessary desires and attachments. The more we simplify our lives and focus our desires on God, the more we can grow in our love for Him. When our heart is free from distractions, we are better able to love God fully and purely. Lawful occupations and divine love. One might wonder whether daily responsibilities and lawful occupations could interfere with our growth in divine love. St. Francis de Sales reassures us that this is not the case. He explains that even while engaged in daily work, we can still love God and grow in our relationship with Him. It is not the tasks themselves that hinder our love for God, but the attitude with which we approach them. He gives the example of King David and St. Louis, who managed to maintain a deep love for God even while fulfilling their duties as rulers. The key is to offer all of our actions to God, whether they are grand or humble. When we perform our duties with the intention of glorifying God, we sanctify even the simplest tasks. By keeping our hearts focused on God, we can turn every action into an act of love. The importance of small acts of devotion. St. Francis de Sales then shifts our attention to the value of small, everyday acts of devotion. While we might dream of performing great deeds of love for God, it is often in the small, hidden acts that we make the most spiritual progress. St. Francis compares this to bees collecting honey from small flowers like thyme and rosemary. The honey from these small flowers is often sweeter and more concentrated than that from larger blooms. Similarly, small acts of patience, kindness, and humility, when done with great love, can have immense spiritual value. Adjusting to the moods of others, bearing their faults with gentleness, and overcoming our own minor dislikes are all ways in which we can grow in love. These simple acts, performed with a pure heart, are often more pleasing to God than grand gestures done without love. The need to perfect our actions. In addition to encouraging small acts of devotion, St. Francis de Sales advises us to perfect everything we do by performing our actions with the greatest purity of intention. Even the smallest tasks can become great if done with the intention of pleasing God. He likens this to coins. If they are not pure or properly weighed, they are rejected. Similarly, our actions, if not done with the right intention, lose their spiritual value. St. Francis emphasizes that it is not the quantity of our actions that matters, but the quality. A small act done with great love and purity of intention can satisfy us far more than many actions done carelessly or out of habit. The more we focus on doing everything for God's glory, the more we will grow in divine love. Offering all our works to God. St. Francis encourages us to offer all of our works to God, both great and small. By doing this, we sanctify everything we do. He explains that just as a child who belongs to a father naturally dedicates all that they acquire to that father, so too we, as children of God, dedicate all our works to Him when we live in His love. This offering should be renewed every day through prayer and spiritual exercises. By doing so, we continuously lift our hearts to God, ensuring that every action we perform is done for His glory. This continual offering keeps our hearts focused on divine love and allows us to grow steadily in holiness. Surrendering our will to God. One of the most powerful lessons in this book is the call to surrender our will completely to God. St. Francis de Sales uses the example of Abraham, who was willing to sacrifice his beloved son Isaac out of obedience to God. This total surrender is the ultimate expression of love and trust in God. St. Francis challenges us to follow Abraham's example by offering our own free will to God. This means surrendering our desires, plans, and preferences, trusting completely in God's will for our lives. True freedom, he explains, comes from becoming a slave to divine love. When we align our will with God's, we experience the greatest joy and peace. Conclusion: Love and the Cross. St. Francis de Sales concludes this book by reflecting on the ultimate motive for loving God, Christ's sacrifice on the cross. The death and passion of our Lord are the clearest and most powerful expressions of divine love. By contemplating the cross, we are drawn deeper into the mystery of God's love for us. In the end, St. Francis reminds us that the choice is simple. We must choose either eternal love or eternal death. Through this treatise, he has shown us the path to divine love. Now it is up to us to walk that path, offering our hearts, wills, and lives entirely to God. Thank you for joining me in this reflection on Book 12. May we all grow in our desire for divine love and continue to offer everything we do for the glory of God. God bless you. Live Jesus.
In the heart, love does not depend on what nature might intend. God's gift of love is freely given. From His heart it flows from heaven, whether gentle, harsh, or cold. Love is a treasure to be bold. For every soul love can grow, to rise in grace, to overflow. O desire of holy love, lift our hearts to God above. In every act, in every way, teach us, Lord, to love and pray. O desire pure and true, fill our hearts with love for you. We must renounce all other aims and focus on your holy name. In every small or great affair, we offer all in humble prayer. No lawful task can block your light, when love's intention keeps it bright. Even in the smallest thing, our love for you is everything. O desire of holy love, lift our hearts to God above. In every act, in every way, teach us, Lord, to love and pray. O desire pure and true, fill our hearts with love for you. In every trial, great or small, teach us, Lord, to give our all. Let our hearts in silence sing of the love that you do bring. Like Abraham, we lay our will on your altar, calm and still. With every breath we give our heart, that from your love will not depart. O desire of holy love, lift our hearts to God above. In every act, in every way, teach us, Lord, to love and pray. O desire pure and true, fill our hearts with love for you. Through each blessing, grace, and trial, you've walked with us each little mile. Across the crown of love we bear, with every sigh, with every prayer. Oh, let us feel your sacred flame and live forever in your name. For you, for you. Through each blessing, grace, and trial, you've walked with us each little mile. In love and death we live anew, gone forever, Lord, to you.